Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Fate Apocrypha, which is on episode 19. Now, this episode right here was actually pretty cool, not too bad. I did watch it like very long time ago today, but apparently I was unable to do a video on it because I was busy with something else. But aside from that, let's just get this started. We have to it that everyone along with Sig is trying to figure out what to do with their next plan of attack in the next 3 days. Aside from that, we had to it that Rider of Black apparently has a noble phantasm, but he does not remember it. And the funny thing is that this thing can actually work, but the one thing for sure is that it needs to be a moonless night, but a new moon can actually help out, which will appear 3 days from now, which they plan to attack in 3 days. We had to it that Collis and what's her name? I think Fiore ends up having a little small talk of who's going to lead Igdoremia in the future, and we have to it that Collis wants to take over, and of course Fiore or something was against the idea, but Collis says, you can't stomach the fact that people can die in front of you. Remember that time with your pet dog or something? She says, how can I forget? And realizes that she has to admit to that. We have to it that there was a funny scene with Jeanne d'Arc and Sig talking to each other about the plan for the next 3 days. And we have to it that Ryder appears naked in front of her, and she did not realize that she was a guy until it's really confirmed, and then she screams in total embarrassment because she saw her ding-dongs. I'm pretty sure if you guys watch the episode, you will know what I mean. We have to it that Ryder and Sig end up hanging out around town, and they end up going to eat at a certain restaurant, but gets into a meetup with Saber Red. While there was a scene with Collis and Fiora transferring her magic crest to Collis, he actually struggled a bit, but he managed to pull through in the end, which is a pretty good thing. But apparently after that scene, we have a scene between Mordred, Sig, and Rider of Black talking about humanity alone. And of course Sig was actually struggling about this because he used to like humans, but after he saw Jack the Ripper's past, he doesn't know anymore. Mordred therefore gives a little confirmation to Sig that people are very greedy and just do things whatever they wish to do and don't even care about the favors they owe to other people. In the end, it's just like they just do it out of their own precious desire to live. That's all. And we have to it that Sig was still struggling with this idea and asked Mordred for help as he doesn't know what to do anymore in any other sense, whether if it's the right or wrong choice to protect humanity. We had to it that Mordred says, I can't really give you that answer because there is no right or wrong choice for you. And sometimes in the world of reality, sometimes there is no right or wrong, I think in my eyes as well, because sometimes you just make this kind of right choice because people tell you it's right, etc. And they tell you this is the wrong choice because they tell you it's a wrong choice. But in the end, it's all on you. Pretty much Mordred tells Sig. And in the end, we had to it, of course, when it comes to talking about kings and trying to and that Astafolo talks about, and Mordred herself is going to be king. Astafolo asks Mordred, what kind of king do you want to be? An evil king or a good king? And Mordred says, a good king, obviously. One that could be great and all. Of course, I see Rider of Black and of course Saber Red still have their bitterness towards each other, and I can understand that. But let's not forget that Mordred is the one that kind of somewhat saved Ryder from doing something despicable like killing Sig, etc. Of course, there was a scene between Rider of Black and Jeanne d'Arc involving about having a little fanciness over Sig. It was nothing too important here and there. And of course, Jeanne has a little small talk with Sig when Sig is struggling with himself about what's to come later in the future, etc. Of course, we we had to it that Jeanne d'Arc and Rider Black does agree before Sig talks to Jeanne that humans should be loved, etc. And sometimes it could get a little bit both ways out of hand here, because sometimes humanity could be despicable with many ways of their actions. I'm pretty sure all of us will understand that after going through certain situations in life that causes us mental pain and physical pain and misery. But aside from that, yeah, just a little small scene with Astafalo and Jeanne d'Arc and then Sig after they have a little small talk with Saber Red. And that was a scene between like Fiore and Collis about going to the Hanging Gardens, etc. But they both decided to keep going anyway because this is gonna be their final battle, and of course like they're not gonna sit by and watch and see people see other comrades die. Chiron and Fiore does have a little moment with each other and see to it that they will fight to the very end and go all out for it. As for Collis, I think he's still in pain from that magic crest transfer, and he does get a Sakura petal onto his hand, which is a symbolism from Berserker Black that he used to bond with and became a master of, and made sure to like say that I'll see this to the end. Of course, Jeanne d'Arc in the bath right now is trying to understand, is envious of Letitia right now, and is trying to understand like what's this kind of feeling she has inside her, because she does not want Sig to fight and she does not want him to die so badly, and she doesn't get it. I'm thinking in my mind, my goodness, you must have been a really strong saint of a virgin if you don't even understand your own feelings right there. But she's just innocent, ignorant, and somewhat pure in the end, I guess. And despite all that, we had there was a scene between Mordred and her master, which I call him the motorcycle guy because he looks like a biker guy anyway. But aside from that, they end up having a little small bonding moment about having to become king, and of course Mordred on the other hand asks her master like, what does it take to be a good king? And then of course like he says, I really don't know. That's something that I can't really give you an answer to. But Mordred does say she wants to surpass the king of knights, etc. And of course, like the master says, I'm pretty sure you adore your father, right? Even though like you may have some major hatred towards her or him. Well, we kind of know that for a fact because everything she did was to maybe want to be recognized, etc. But aside from that, we have to it that Mordred and her master ends up trying to figure out what the next plan is. But we have to it that she asks him, how do we kill that woman? And he ends up having something that's known to be a safety measure. And we had to it that Saber decided to name the airplane that they're gonna ride in possibly in the next 3 days that's to come, called Saber. While I think Atlanta or something, or Akano Archer, ends up having a little small talk with Achilles and asks him, do you think we can save all children? Achilles says, I don't think so, but I think there's still a proper way to do it. And of course we have to it that everyone else is getting ready for their battle, possibly of what's to come in the future. So, in this episode, all I can really give you in simple words of a simple summary is that like these guys that the Black Faction, some of the Black Faction, or Adolemia, along with like Sig and the others, are getting ready to go charge against the Red Faction, the Red Faction, and trying to get things into place. And of course, there's just some hangout things with like Rider Black and Sig, and Jeanne d'Arc figuring out her embarrassing moment, and freaking like Sig having his meeting with Mordred, of course, which is Saber Red, etc., and much more around here and there. So, aside from that, I think the episode was a pretty nice one. Aside from like major pacing things here and there, but yeah, sorry, I'm just a little tired here and there, and the episode that I watched did not have much going on. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.